The story surrounding David and Celeste has officially crossed into nightmare territory. Federal investigators recently revealed that the body of a teenage girl was found dismembered in the trunk of a Tesla registered to the rising artist, instantly sparking nationwide outrage.
15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the girl found in the front trunk of a Tesla registered to rising music star David.
The discovery sent shockwaves through the music world, which had already been uneasy about the rumors surrounding David's private life. What once looked like tabloid speculation is now a full-blown federal case. Authorities say they've built a timeline so detailed it paints David as reckless and predatory, moving in ways that are impossible to defend. Each new detail, the age gap, the secret messages, the suspicious song drops, feels like another nail in the coffin. But then came the unexpected twist. David's own brother Caleb stepped into the storm and publicly questioned the Fed's timeline, calling it manufactured and selectively edited. That statement flipped the narrative overnight. Could it be that the airtight case everyone thought existed is actually a setup? The question now is whose truth is real? Federal prosecutors laid their cards on the table, presenting a timeline they claimed would speak for itself. It begins in late 2021 when David, then a teen star, allegedly met Celeste online through Fortnite while she was barely 12. Already, the age difference raised eyebrows, but investigators say the real red flags started when David began tying his music releases to moments in her life. On March 28, 2022, he released Decide with lyrics mentioning "Save Your Tears 7 years," which fans now believe hinted at Celeste's age and how long he might have planned to wait. September 7, 2022, her birthday, he dropped Romantic on the exact day. Federal agents flagged these coincidences as disturbing patterns of control rather than art. From Discord chats to Twitch streams, each digital breadcrumb lined up too neatly. By February 2024, Celeste's mother had reported her missing while David's social media showed new photos of them together. To the feds, every piece fit perfectly. Caleb insists those same pieces could have been planted or misinterpreted. Just when investigators thought they had their man, Caleb detonated a bombshell. In interviews and cryptic posts, he claimed the so-called airtight timeline might be deeply flawed, possibly even fabricated. He suggested evidence was cherry-picked to frame David, hinting at larger forces who wanted his brother taken down. The accusation was stunning. Fans had already seen Caleb step back from David's world, but few imagined he might actively dispute the investigation. Some online theorists now believe Caleb is either the ultimate insider trying to clear his brother's name, or the hidden informant feeding the feds information to save himself. Either way, his sudden emergence shook the narrative. In the hip-hop scene, the word snitch hits differently. Caleb's move sparked debate about loyalty, justice, and survival. Was he protecting a predator or exposing a setup? His decision to speak up forces everyone watching to question whether the official story is as solid as it seems or just another high-profile takedown gone wrong. While Caleb was stirring the pot, the internet caught fire with its own theories. One viral post on X claimed Celeste was pregnant when she died and that infant remains were found near David's home. It racked up millions of views and sent fans into panic. Yet no forensic confirmation or official report backed the claim. It was pure misinformation, but the damage was done. Then came the narrative about Celeste's aunt allegedly using the tragedy for clout, posting shoutouts and flexing new talent badges. Some called it exploitation, others said it was her coping mechanism. Either way, these viral threads turned a federal case into a public circus. This fog of rumors serves a darker function. When timelines get flooded with lies, real evidence can be buried. Was this chaos just fans reaching for answers or an intentional smokescreen by someone with something to hide? The louder the false leads become, the harder it is to see the truth. That confusion may be exactly what someone wants. Once you strip away the noise, the most chilling evidence might not come from courtrooms or chat logs. It's in David's own music. Fans have started dissecting every lyric, every hidden voicemail, and every stage breakdown. What they're finding doesn't sound like creativity. It sounds like confession. David often said his art was the truest version of himself, but when you listen closely, that truth gets dark fast. In songs like I Never Needed You and So Long Goodbye, you can hear Celeste's voice crying, apologizing, begging to be left alone. It's raw, unfiltered emotion that now feels hauntingly real. To some, that's just art imitating life. To others, it's evidence of obsession spiraling into tragedy. Every lyric, every date-stamped release seems to align with Celeste's timeline. Whether intentional or not, the tracks create a musical breadcrumb trail, one that prosecutors claim mirrors the crime itself. Caleb, though, insists the lyrics were manipulated out of context. Somebody, he says, wants this story to sound darker than it really is. David's obsession with themes like decay, rebirth, and death didn't start recently, it was always woven into his art. His final project, Withered, sounded like a funeral in slow motion. Fans once thought it was a metaphor for his mental health. Now it feels like a goodbye letter hidden behind poetic language. He even told interviewers that Withered was my life, my end, my return. Those words hit different now that the investigation links his creative cycles to Celeste's disappearance. The imagery runs deeper too. The red spider lily, a Japanese flower symbolizing death and separation, was plastered across his promo visuals. Was that symbolism or a subtle confession? Some believe David was expressing pain, not guilt, but others argue that he was masking reality through metaphor, blending truth into art to test whether anyone would catch on. Either way, the meaning has shifted. What was once aesthetic is now forensic, and each metaphor could be the key to understanding what really happened behind the music. Even before the case broke wide open, fans were already noticing David's emotional unraveling. During multiple live shows in 2025, he broke down mid-performance, crying uncontrollably during Afterlife and walking off stage before finishing. At first, people saw it as burnout or heartbreak, but in hindsight, it looks more like guilt bleeding through. Witnesses said he mumbled things about letting go and she's still here between sobs. At the time, nobody knew what that meant. Now, those same clips are being used by online investigators as psychological evidence, moments when David's conscience cracked in front of the world. If Caleb is right though, those breakdowns could have been weaponized too. The internet took emotional pain and turned it into proof of murder. That's the danger of viral judgment. Interpretation becomes conviction before facts even surface. Still, the pattern is hard to ignore. Every song, every meltdown, every word he spoke seemed to orbit Celeste's memory. Whether guilt or grief, something inside him was collapsing. Now the spotlight's shifting to the people who were supposed to protect him, his management and label. Federal agents reportedly raided the home of his longtime manager Josh Marshall within days of Celeste's body being identified. That alone suggests investigators believe this goes deeper than one artist's spiral. Rumors claim Josh and label execs were warned about Celeste being a missing minor months before her death, yet she still appeared backstage on tour buses and in promo photos, sometimes with fake IDs, sometimes with none at all. The optics are bad and the excuses are thin. Did they know? Or did they choose not to look too closely because the money was flowing? When the feds searched David's apartment, Josh allegedly terminated the lease immediately, a move that fans called a cleanup attempt. Within days, the label severed ties. Some say it was damage control, others think it was guilt management. Either way, the silence from the top only deepened suspicion. Someone up there was definitely nervous. Now everyone's asking the same question. If Caleb really is cooperating with the feds, what's his end game? Is he trying to save himself or finally expose the truth about his brother? Because his sudden shift from silence to public commentary doesn't feel random, it feels strategic. Sources close to Caleb claim he was disturbed by what he discovered once the investigation began. He allegedly provided key info about David's communications, but others think it's all smoke. On Reddit, threads accuse him of planting clues in his own music, writing verses that mirror events before they even went public. That coincidence alone has people suspicious. For Caleb, it's a tightrope. If he's helping law enforcement, he risks being labeled a snitch. If he stays silent, he looks complicit. Either way, he's caught in a storm too big to control. His only escape might be transparency, but that's a dangerous move when your brother's reputation and maybe your own freedom hangs in the balance. In cases like this, the digital footprint is everything. The feds reportedly built their timeline using Discord messages, private Instagram DMs, and deleted Twitch clips. Each snippet, when rearranged, painted David as the aggressor and Celeste as the victim. It looked airtight until Caleb hinted that some of those timestamps might not line up. He suggested that the screenshots circulating online could have been doctored or lifted from old servers. Investigators haven't confirmed that, but it's not impossible. In the digital age, one altered metadata tag can twist an entire story. If that's what Caleb meant by manufactured, this case could unravel fast. The wild part? Some fans have tried verifying the evidence themselves, digging through cached posts and Discord archives. It's citizen forensics on steroids, but with so many doctored clips floating around, even truth feels suspicious now. When reality and fabrication blur this perfectly, justice becomes a guessing game. If you step back, another theory emerges. What if this whole chaos was orchestrated? Think about it. Fake leaks, inconsistent timelines, planted rumors about pregnancy and snitching. It's almost too messy to be accidental. Someone might be controlling the narrative, feeding the public misinformation while investigators chase ghosts. Music insiders say this isn't new. When an artist becomes too valuable or too dangerous, the people around them can either protect or bury them. In David's case, both seem to be happening at once. Every piece of evidence that surfaces feels like it helps one side and hurts another. Caleb's public statements, the label's silence, the Reddit leaks, it's all part of a tug of war for perception. Whoever controls the story controls the outcome, and that's the scariest part. We might never know if David was framed or exposed because the truth itself has been edited, remixed, and resold to fit the algorithm. Looking deeper, David's behavior fits a disturbing pattern seen in other celebrity scandals: obsession, isolation, and control disguised as devotion. Friends say he kept Celeste on call 24/7, tracking her through messages, voice notes, even shared playlists. It looked romantic until you realized it was surveillance. The feds say this obsession is what made their case feel so solid. But if Caleb's claims hold water, that evidence was spliced and taken out of context, then those same behaviors might just prove emotional codependency, not criminal intent. It's a thin, haunting line between love and control. What's undeniable is the psychological toll. Every interaction, every leaked DM shows two people lost in a loop of guilt and manipulation. Whether it was David's dominance or Celeste's dependence, both were trapped in something toxic. And in the end, that dynamic may have killed them both, one physically, the other spiritually. That's not just a case file, that's tragedy in slow motion. Behind the glamour, there's a brutal truth about the music industry. When controversy sells, silence becomes policy. Insiders are now claiming that David's label ignored red flags for months because his streams were skyrocketing. Every scandal boosted engagement, and engagement meant money. It's the same cycle we've seen before: artistic pain turned into profit. A leaked email allegedly shows a PR executive advising staff to control the narrative instead of cutting ties immediately. That decision might have bought them short-term profit but long-term ruin. Now, the same people who once called David a visionary are pretending they barely knew him. If the feds prove the label knew Celeste was underage or missing, it won't just be a criminal case, it'll be a reckoning. Labels, managers, and marketing teams will all have to answer the same question: when did they stop managing an artist and start protecting a potential criminal? That blurred line is what's haunting the industry right now. After the body was found, the dominoes started falling fast. Police raided David's manager's home, the label cut ties, and online databases tracking his music began mysteriously disappearing. Within 48 hours, his Fortnite stats, Reddit posts, and multiple SoundCloud uploads vanished. It looked less like grief and more like a digital purge. Fans who tracked the data say timestamps were altered, posts deleted, and even old comments rewritten by bots. That kind of cleanup doesn't happen by accident. Either his camp was trying to erase everything that connected him to Celeste, or someone else was scrubbing evidence to frame him. Caleb's remarks only added fuel. He said somebody cleaned the internet too fast, suggesting inside help. If that's true, the web of guilt extends far beyond David himself. The modern cover-up doesn't happen in basements. It happens on servers, in archives, and behind encrypted logins. And whoever's running that cleanup knows exactly what they're hiding. Now Caleb stands at a crossroads. His cryptic lyrics, public hints, and interviews have all placed him directly in the center of this storm. If he's telling the truth, he's risking retaliation from both sides, the industry and the law. But if he's lying, he's manipulating one of the darkest tragedies of the decade for clout. Either way, he's playing with fire. Some of his new songs mention brotherhood broken by silence and a deal that cost blood, which fans now interpret as veiled confessions. He's never confirmed or denied what those bars mean, but the timing is suspicious. Each release feels like another breadcrumb in a psychological chess match. Whatever Caleb's motive, one thing's clear: his actions have shifted public sympathy. Some fans now see him as a whistleblower exposing corruption. Others think he's rewriting history to distance himself. In either case, the damage is irreversible. The truth is no longer what happened, it's who the world believes first. Then came the twist no one expected: leaked surveillance footage reportedly showing Celeste alive weeks after her supposed death. If real, it changes the entire timeline, and Caleb's warnings suddenly make sense. Investigators are reviewing the footage, but online detectives are already debating its authenticity. Some claim it's deepfake manipulation, others insist it's the missing puzzle piece. If the footage holds up, it would mean the federal timeline is flawed, possibly intentionally. That revelation would flip the entire narrative, turning David from a confirmed suspect into a potential scapegoat. But if the clip is fake, then someone went to extreme lengths to create it. Either way, it's a bomb. This development proves one thing: truth in the digital era is fragile. Footage can be edited, evidence can be staged, and lives can be destroyed with a single upload. Caleb warned everyone not to believe everything they see, and now for the first time that warning feels prophetic. Once the footage leaked, chaos erupted. News outlets scrambled to retract earlier reports, fans flooded forums demanding justice, and even former collaborators started deleting posts. The court of public opinion flipped overnight from outrage to confusion. Suddenly, nobody was sure who was victim, who was villain, or whether both were just casualties of a system built on manipulation. Caleb's reaction was chillingly calm. He posted a single word: "Told you." That message, paired with a cryptic video of him staring into the camera for 8 silent seconds, reignited the internet's obsession. Was he vindicated, or just playing everyone again? That moment blurred the final line between revelation and performance. Law enforcement has since gone quiet. No new statements, no confirmed suspects, no trial date. It's as if the investigation evaporated the second the narrative stopped fitting the headlines. And that silence, it's louder than anything they've said so far. Sometimes the real story isn't what they release, it's what they erase. Even now, months later, the mystery refuses to die. Was David set up by a system that profits from scandal? Was Celeste truly gone, or hidden to protect her from something bigger? And most of all, what did Caleb mean when he said the story was rewritten before it was told? Every theory leads to more contradictions. Every truth feels like another lie. One thing is certain: this saga exposed how fragile fame really is. A single post, a leak, or a manipulated clip can destroy careers, families, and lives. The internet doesn't just document history, it manufactures it. And once it's out there, no one can take it back. So maybe Caleb was right from the beginning. Maybe this wasn't about guilt or innocence at all. Maybe it was about control, the power to decide what story the world believes. Because in this era, truth isn't what's proven, it's what trends.